A very good morning once again from wherever you are joining us this beautiful cold Tuesday morning, the first day of the week when it comes to matters, family matters. And on this day we discuss matters parenting. We have an interesting question today that you may be interested in depending on your situation when it comes to matters schooling. Is homeschooling gaining popularity in Kenya? That's our question for today, our conversation. And I have two amazing parents, specialists. They're both specialists because they've both taken their kids through homeschooling. They're doing so well. Some of them are still, in school. Like one of the parents has two kids in school. She's going to tell us about it, the challenges, the fun bit of it, how they bond with their children, they do homeschooling, and any other question you may have this morning, you can post it on 20316, or that's our SMS line, or 0786316316. That is our WhatsApp line. Join into the conversation. My name is Sally Limo. Welcome, and welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for making time and also for just coordinating the colors. I think we're in spirit. We were in spirit today. The power color. Yes. Karibuni sana. And I'll start with you, Mary, introducing yourself, then Daktari.
Okay. My name is Mary Morioki. I'm an education consultant for homeschooling. And I work with families who want to start homeschooling, who are in the journey of homeschooling. I provide tutors, resources, training, networking, special needs education, tools, and anything surrounding homeschooling. And I got this from being able to, I homeschooled my own children from kindergarten all the way through to high school. So I got that, I do this from the experience that I gained from teaching my own children.
Right.
So this became like a career path for me.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love that you've mentioned special needs, because we have to touch on that when it comes to homeschooling and catering for the special needs children. Daktari.
My name is Dr. Mudhani Omuhango, and I'm so happy that you're going to have me again. I'm a publisher in Africa, Christian publisher. I'm an author. I'm also a mom of 3 and a homeschooler. So I homeschooled our firstborn daughter. She's 22 now, and I'm still homeschooling our 12-year-old and 9-year-old.
Okay, amazing, amazing. I know a lot of people have tuned in just to get to understand this homeschooling bit, and that's where, Mary, now you come in. What is homeschooling really? Probably, yes, the word is home, school, a school at home.
Yes.
But what is it really about, and what inspired you as a parent to just decide, you know what, this is what I'm going to do? And because those are many years back.
Yeah, 27 years now.
What inspired you back then?
I got inspired by my own experience of schooling. When I was in school, I always felt that I was confined, that there's more that needs to be done. I want to explore, I want to be creative. I want to read books outside of the set books. I just wanted to explore education, to learn things that were outside of the syllabus. Then I also felt that I had a lot of giftings in me, which the school did not cover. And so I felt that I would have liked to do 1, 2, 3, and we only allowed to do 1, 2, 3. So when I grew up, I felt like I was yes, I'm educated, but I'm not fully developed as an individual, prepared for life. I'm not well prepared for life in many aspects. A lot of it had to do with gifts and talents. It had to do with questions about how to live life. How do you even find a spouse? How do you navigate life? And it was mostly about books, and the rest was left out. And even questions about spirituality. I mean, I got bits and pieces of it, but I wanted deep knowledge about God. So I felt that there was so much that I have graduated, I have finished, but I feel I'm half-baked. So I felt that when I have my own children, that's when I made up my mind. At that time, when I was just young, I would want something better for them. Something more holistic. Yes.
And I'm just wondering, were there materials for homeschooling back then?
Well, even there was no internet when I was in school. I mean, I grew up in the 80s. There was no internet. Even there were no cell phones. It was only the call box phones or those other ones that you... There was only books, libraries, and books.
And that's what you used?
And that's what we used. I read all the books there were to read. From cover to cover, and went over and over again. you know, in school, everything, but I felt there's more. I want to learn more. I was kind of exploding with knowledge, creativity, but it was just stifled.
Two of a kind. She's such a reader as well, a family of readers. So I really, you know, you say you read a lot, and Dr. Mango is there like, yes, this is it.
Yes.
Yeah. So Dr. for you, what motivated you to start homeschooling your children?
Wow, I think we have read from the same book. I will just take what she has said.
Yeah.
I just say just like that, what she has said. But for us, it started with an instruction from God. Seeing our daughter, she's multi-gifted.
Yeah.
I believe all children are multi-gifted. They just need to get the right environment, you know, put the right soil, the right fertilizer.
Right.
Every child has much more to offer. And so for us, it just started with an instruction from God through my husband.
Yeah.
But on top of now that, it's just exactly what she has said. And I was so excited when she was talking. I'm like,
I could
that's like, that's like our home. That exactly, because I've sat in recruitment boards in this city, and we sit and I see what we are looking for, what companies are looking for. And people come with amazing CVs, education, I've done this, I've done that. But the person who gets the job is the person with the experience. One, experience and the right attitude or the right character. And for me, I'm just pleased that homeschooling can allow me to give my children the space to become. So yes, we do the academics, very important. So homeschooling doesn't mean you're not doing, you know, the academic work, but beyond, it's not our only core thing.
Right.
So we helping our children to become the ones who want to be writers. They have written, or my kids have written multiple books. The ones who want to do photography, the ones who want to do music, the ones. So it gives us a space for our children to become. So like what she has said, they don't get into life, and then you realize, okay, I have the papers, but nothing else.
Yes. And Mary, probably, you know, the question that we're trying to answer today or unpack today is homeschooling gaining popularity in Kenya, do you think?
Yes, definitely. You see, I have been in the space for 27 years.
Right.
And in the beginning, I'm one of the first to ever homeschool in Kenya in terms of indigenous Kenyans.
Okay.
Because when I started, it was 1998, and I could only count 1 or 2 people who were homeschooling, who are Africans, who are Kenyans. I mean, there were plenty of missionaries who were homeschooling, but Africans. So I've seen it grow from 2, 3, 4, 10, 20 families, hundreds of families. We created something called the East Africa Community of Homeschoolers, and we used to have, and we still have, a conference, annual conference for homeschoolers every year. Okay. And so having been part of that, we've seen it grow. More and more people keep coming. More people get mentorship and they start homeschooling. So we've done that over the years, more than 10 years. But the most significant change happened during COVID.
Absolutely.
COVID, everybody was home with their children, and when it was over, many said, no, we don't want to go back to school. And so from there, it just grew into like a huge number of thousands of homeschoolers. So many of them, we don't even know them. They're still they don't even know that there's structures of homeschooling, organizations, associations, systems, global systems. They just know what they were doing from COVID. But there is a huge network, there is a huge community, and we interact with each other in amazing ways. Mentoring each other, working with each other. That's how I've been able to even become a consultant, because then people get to know that there's someone. If you want to start homeschooling, contact Mary Morioki. She'll hold your hand and show you how to, and give you all the options. She'll train you if you want. Or if you're stuck somewhere, she'll help you to figure out a solution. And so it definitely is gaining popularity, especially after COVID, and even more and more and more even now. People, especially what I notice is a lot of young families, people who are maybe giving birth now, are starting, they have 2-year-olds, 5-year-olds. Many of them are looking at, okay, what options do I have for schooling? I have private, public, and homeschooling. And so many of them are investigating before they start. So there's a young parents are actually looking at all those options, and they're increasing more and more and more. So yes, definitely homeschooling is gaining popularity.
Okay, okay. Dr. How has homeschooling for you evolved over the years?
So definitely technology has really helped. You know, when I speak about, I know a few people who've done this for 20, 30 years, but I've never met a person with a 33-year-old, so hats off to Mary. But yeah, I've homeschooled now for over a decade, maybe 1.5 decades, and initially it was just manual. You know, like everything you have to buy, and bring the curriculum in. But thank God for technology. And so our firstborn just did manual homeschooling, like actual books. We do AC, which is excellent for us as a family, but we supplement. So we do not, like Mary was saying, you just refuse to be confined to this is the one thing. But now with technology and post-COVID, then you find that more resources were put online. And that has been really a blessing for us, even with our children. Sometimes we won't have, you know, some gaps where you've ordered the materials, then they've not come in good time, so you have to coordinate everything. Now with technology, you just order, and like I can tell my kids, okay, fine, give me 2 minutes, and we've started the class because we are online. We have online classes now, we have online encyclopedias, we have online, like everything. And so that has been a blessing for us, because now we are more digital homeschooling than for our last two, than what we did with manual homeschooling with our first.
And when you talk about the syllabus, probably Mary, do you think a lot of parents, like you're saying, are turning to homeschooling? Is it because probably of the dissatisfaction also? Because you look at, you know, our current system or curriculum, is it curriculum 844, for example? It was 844, changed to 7862 something, 844, CBC, CBA. Could that also be a contributing factor to people just getting into homeschooling, maybe?
Yes. Okay, one of the latest ones. Okay, 844, many people felt it was too rigid. And too strict, and your child, if the child didn't fit in that box, then your child fell out. And so that rigidity is what helped. Many people felt, I don't want my child to be in 844. Also the cramming and the exam pressure and the make or break, and if you don't get a certain grade, then you're done. That whole thing of too much emphasis on academics put people off, and they felt dissatisfied, because even the product, when you finish 844, a lot of children are not capable of doing so much. And you have your papers there, but you can't you're sitting waiting for a job. You can't think, you can't be creative, you can't start doing stuff. So many parents also knew that the outcome of 844 was not that great. So many parents were dissatisfied with 844. With CBC, it's been better, because there's some sort of creativity, some sort of parental involvement. I know people who are homeschooling with CBC, but the problem with CBC is people don't know how the children will finish. There's this question about what happens to grade 10, grade 11, grade 12. When you break into the STEM subjects and the whatever, what will happen? You know, it's just so much grade, so people don't want to risk that. So people are switching from CBC to IGCSE. I am a provider of curriculum. I help those who are using CBC. I also provide like an online. I work with an online school called Cambryland for the British system, all the way from reception class to A levels. And I also work with an American school online school called La Senda Global Academy. So anything American we provide from there, and then there are many others also. But those are the people I've partnered with. So many people, I get many people shifting from CBC to the British, and so yes, people are not satisfied with the system that is available. Each of them have their different issues, but the biggest problem is the lack of flexibility. I have many parents whose children are athletes. And they cannot be in a physical school, because once you miss class, you've missed. So if you're an athlete, you need to go for your practice, your games, your traveling. You come back, and school is at your convenience. and not school fits into your program, and not you fitting your sports program into school. So a lot of children who are professional golfers, professional tennis players, footballers and swimmers, they come out of school because of that, even though they're in very good schools and all, but the fixation of the class has to be, if you miss class, then you've missed everything. Okay. It's not working for many children who are in that space. There are some who are special needs. Many special needs children are not fitting in with the classroom style education. They need their own one-on-one. They need an individualized curriculum. They need space to, if they're not well, they need a break. And so things don't stop because they, like school now, it just leaves them behind. Okay. But now here you stop and work with the child. So special needs education, athletes, a lot of parents who want values training, character training. Like she said, the job market is lacking. There's people with papers, but they don't have character. They can't be creative. They're not disciplined enough to be independent. Like when you leave someone, you give them responsibility, they're still waiting for instruction instead of thinking and going. Going ahead, thinking, coming up with solution, problem solving, critical thinking. People are just there waiting, because that's how you educated a child in 844. Wait until the teacher tells you. You wait, you keep waiting. So you wait you find that when you're grown up, you're still waiting. Because of the way you're educated. You're not educated in a way that you were taught to explore, do research, come up with an idea. What is your concept? What is your opinion? What is the solution to this problem? A lot of the curriculum that's American, British, they have that a lot. Even CBC has tried, they do have some of that. But of course it's not enough. It's just kind of just starting that, but it's not enough. But so that's the reason why people are dissatisfied. The outcome of education is not it's not what you're getting. When your child goes to school, they're not getting what you're expecting at the end of the day. That's the reason why.
Okay. Wow. And you've talked about, CBC, and then there's that confusion of, so this is STEM, and there's that confusion. And we're also going to touch on that in terms of, I'm sure there's a parent out there wondering, Daktari, like now you have your kids homeschooling, right? So what happens, like going to uni, how do they then come and fit into the job market? What are your plans, or how does it work?
All right. Could I follow up something Mary has said? I think if our government, and I'm coming back to your question, I think if we give the government a chance, I think CBC is the best we have had so far. Because if you compare 844 and what CBC is trying to do, I think the issue is the implementation of the execution. But I think if we keep refining, now, my only worry is for the kids who have to be the guinea pigs for the refining, you know. So maybe as a parent, you have to think also out of the box. What can you do to ensure that your child is not lost in this confusion? But I do think long term, we couldn't be heading somewhere as a country. So I would really encourage the government to keep working on CBC. It's really close to a good thing than what we had with 844.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, for us, on the question that you've asked, we are thinking that what the market needs is people who can do the job. I sat in an accounting, we were looking for a finance manager or an accountant, a finance manager for a company. And people were expecting, you come, we ask you, which softwares do you know? You say Sage and Pastel and QuickBooks and all that. We didn't do that. They put a computer. So you walk in, there's a panel here, then on that side there's a computer for you and their receipts. And you're told, so what have you done? Oh, I know QuickBooks, I know Pastel. You say, okay, fine. On the computer, open QuickBooks and prepare for us a P&L. There are the receipts. Come and see people sweating. People have gone to university, they have a degree in accounting, some had even masters. There is a lady who was even doing a doctorate on finance, and she didn't get the job. A lady who had worked at the supermarket as a cashier sat down on that computer and you're told you have 5-10 minutes and she entered whatever and she sent. And we were like, you know what, you're hired. She needed, I think, let's say if she needed 50,000, that's what was her ask. And the job was offering 80,000 and she was given 80,000.
Wow.
the practicability.
Yes.
At the end of the day, right now, even when you follow the trends, even from the global space, Microsoft will not hire you for the papers that you have. Meta, Facebook, and all that, they will not hire you for the papers that you have.
Yeah.
Show us what you can be able to do. And so I'm just thinking we have to come from the model our parents had, because you are supposed to go to school. You get KCP paper certificate, you get KCSE certificate, then you go to the university and you get a degree certificate, and you are assured to get a good job. That's not the space we are living in anymore. You will do all those things, you will even go to university for all those years, and you will come out and you do not have a job. And so the job market is looking for people who can do. So if you say that you want to be a photographer, just show me your portfolio. Now I just want to see the work that you have done. If I'm hiring someone who will come in and do our media, you tell someone, okay, here are the equipment, do a short clip for me. And you find that if we only focus on the academics, or if as a parent you're thinking of only the paper, you will do a disservice to your child. So what is it that your child is gifted in? And as I said, every child is gifted. So we need to fund that. So that by the time, I have a friend who had a child in landscaping. They just love working with soil and all that. And this child interned in a landscaping organization since he was 11. By the time he was 18, he was finishing school, and she homeschooled. By the time this child is 18, the mother had opened a company for him when he was 10, 11. By the time he's finishing, at 19, he has his own company. He's done some of the landscapes in this city that I know. And he sits there as a panel of a recruiter with his mom, and they're interviewing people from Egerton University. He only has the high school certificate, but at 19, he has about 10 years experience.
So are we saying that uni is not important when
uni
it comes
is important because education opens your mind to think. So what you need the intellect, and you need something to refine that. What I'm saying is we cannot only focus on the academics and not on the gifts and talents of each child.
Let me add something to what she's saying. Okay, you see, the problem has been a child, and even a young student will tell you, we do everything we've been told. We go to do KCSE, KCP, we go to university, we get our certificate, even our masters, and then there are no jobs. And then when I go and apply, I'm told you need 10 years experience. So they're like, when would I get experience and have been in school? See, the problem is the system does not allow the child to apply practicality as they are learning. The benefit as homeschoolers is we do that. We take away academics and we minimize, cut it down, create time for the children to go out there and explore. Go to an apprenticeship, start a business, learn how to do this, go take photographs, go do all this. That's what I did with my children. They ended up using their gifts and talents to do their own, they're entrepreneurs. Because I did that. I literally cut short the maths and said, you don't need to do calculus, you don't need trigonometry, you don't need that. I did that. At this age, I've never used it, so forget about that. You need to reach here, up to here in math. In English, you did this. You literally cut everything down according to what has been prescribed. And then you say, now this time, we're going to give you time to go and learn how to dressmake, go and do fashion, go and do music, go and do cookery, go and do play sports, go and do this. So that's what you have to do. So now you see, when you're in a school, the school doesn't do that. So the school system is doing an injustice to children because they are not creating that time. They're putting too much academic. And that's why this child will tell you, it's unfair because I did everything you told me, but when you ask me for 10 years experience, I don't have it.
And how will I get the 10 years experience when I've been doing education?
We are not allowing them to do that, and we are still expecting them to have that. So we are the ones doing a disservice to the children. And so we need to adjust the education system so these children have time to do that. They have to time to explore, just like we do it in the homeschooling.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a very interesting question here. Someone is asking, Frida actually, good morning. What happens when a student finishes high school and now goes to the uni? Does homeschooling continue? And then she says, I tend to think homeschooling is for the able families, not low earning ones. I stand to be corrected. It's a question actually I was going to ask, but because Frida has asked that, then first I think Daktari, you can respond to what happens when a student finishes high school and now goes to uni. Does homeschooling continue? And I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Just before.
What has happened also because of development of the homeschooling space, many organizations or many universities and colleges are now acceptable.
Okay.
Also because now you see we have products like her children who have gone through this entire process, and the world or our society can be able to see these are well-educated children. So you find that many even top universities are now acceptable or accepting you know, homeschooled children. So of course there is the path, you have to be clear on the path that you want to take, and there are also entry platforms that offer that entry, like you can do this exam for the next 6 months and you'll be able to enter into this university, or a university will say if you're homeschooled then this is the test you must take, and the kids take that and they come to the university. So for university, for most kids go to actual, you know, universities, but the difference I'm seeing between homeschool and formal schooling is that homeschool children, by the time they are getting into the university, they are a bit clearer with what they want to do. I mean, most of us went to university and our grade dictated what we need to do. You get this grade, you must be a doctor. You get this grade, you must be a teacher. And you can't change some of those things. But you see, you spend 4 years, one, you waste your parents' money, then two, you do something you do not have a passion for. Then you come out and you have to navigate. One group of people, they are stuck in a profession they did not choose and they do not like. So you have angry teachers abusing children in school. You have angry doctors. They don't like operating on your heart, you know. But because that's what society is saying you must do because of what you got. Then there is this other signed group of people who now have to spend the next 5-10 years navigating themselves out of this profession. We forced them into their true calling. So we want to stop wasting time. Can we place the teacher where the teacher needs to be? You know, can we get people, imagine if you got an A and you want to be a carpenter. Now all of us in the society will tell you you're wasting your talent. You know, you're wasting your A. But we want to give people. So what I've seen with homeschooling, by the time the child is getting into the space for higher education, they are a bit clear. Me, I just want to be a chef. So they might not go to a University of Nairobi. They go to a culinary arts school, which is a college. But you know what? She will get a diploma, but that diploma is in line with what they want to do.
It's about also the passion, really.
It's about your purpose. It's about the passion. Your passion, your gifts and talents. That's who you are. And so if you find yourself, you'll be successful.
Absolutely.
Speak to that question, or you can respond to that question about, you know, now the financial aspect of it. Is it just for the financially, you know, able, like what Frida is asking, or anyone can do homeschooling?
No, anyone can do homeschooling. And that's why I said there are people who choose CBC. CBC curriculum is 10,000 shillings for the year. So you can buy that and homeschool your children with it. The British curriculum is maybe 100,000, or depending on which. So if you can afford that, you do that. If the American is even more expensive, so you can, it fits your pocket, whatever it is that you want to do. And then there is a lot of free online resources. Like many people who use CBC supplement with another international curriculum, because CBC allows you to give, it allows you room to explore, to increase the content, to be more specific, and also the content is shallow. The actual books don't have enough content to push you for the whole year. So you find that if there's a topic it's in the book, you will explore it more with online content and do further exercises, further things. So you can definitely, it can fit your pocket, whatever your pocket is.
Pocket friendly. Can
I also say something?
Just before we take a break.
life fits into a mold. So if you're the size of this cup and you're round, life will come and fit that circle. If you're square, life will come and fit that square.
Right.
What I advise families, what is it that God is directing you?
Okay.
If you are in obedience to that instruction, imagine everything else has to fall in place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Indeed. Can we call this office schooling, because or studio schooling? This is amazing. The conversation is amazing. But you know, we have to take a very short break, and we'll be right back. I hope you're learning. You know, you have your pen, your diaries, your iPads, and all that, taking notes from these experts with me in studio. Amazing conversation. Join in on 20316 SMS line, or 0786 316 316 is our WhatsApp line. Keep those comments, questions coming in.
We are living in a lost and broken world, constantly bombarded by messages of hate and atrocities. But with God, we can overcome. Find hope and restoration on the go through life-changing shows on the Family Media app.
And then you will lose yourself and gain the world. And Jesus said, what good is it?
Get to stream Family TV and Family Radio 316 straight from your phone. Catch up on a show you missed, or create video streaming playlists by saving and watching videos from our huge variety of shows at your own convenience. Download the Family Media app, available for all Android and iOS users on the Google Play Store and Apple Store respectively. Family Media, keeping Jesus on the airwaves.
Family tree, the way a parent can plant a family tree, how they guide their children, and that's exactly what my panelists are telling us this morning. That's exactly what they've done, and they're still doing up to this moment. Thank you so much for your feedback. I can see there's a question here. There was one in terms of socialization. Probably, Dr. you will take that on matters their social life, and then Mary, you wanted to add something on the university continuation. So probably I'll start with Mary just to respond to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to add about that question about how does homeschooling continue?
Yeah.
And I wanted to say that yes, you know, once our children have learned to be independent learners, self-learning. So when they go to university and beyond and they navigate their life, they continue learning. So it's like they school themselves. They're used to, a child has a question and wants to gain knowledge, they automatically look for that knowledge and they gain it. So like I have my daughter, for example, who's the one who's more studious. She's always looking for a new course to do. She's done recently a course on graphic design. She's now designing for me anything that I want.
Wow.
She's done something on digital marketing. She's now doing for me social media. She has done something on nutrition. Whenever she has an interest in something, she does, and she finishes and she gets a certificate and keeps it kind of. She gets knowledge, she gains knowledge. There's another time she wanted to learn how to sing. She's a musician also, and she wanted to learn how to sing jazz. When she graduated, that's one of the things that was missing in her curriculum. She did an online course on how to be a jazz singer. She started singing jazz. So she just learns whatever she wants to learn to apply it in her life, and she does it. So lifelong learning becomes a culture for homeschool children. So you can still say that yes, it continues for the homeschooling continues throughout their life.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think, Dr. you can address the concerns on socialization, probably, and even the academic rigor when it comes to homeschooling.
I usually joke. I think homeschooled kids are sometimes over-socialized because it was such a concern, or it has been a concern for many years. So I think homeschoolers tend to overdo it, you know, like to overcompensate, because I don't want my child not to be well socialized. But if I can speak from experience, now, socialization for us has been a bit different. Of course, I'm a publisher. I work with authors. I work with partners from abroad, from other countries. And what homeschooling has enabled me to do is that anywhere I go, other than Sally's studio, that I've not brought my children, I take my kids everywhere I go. So when I'm meeting, so my kids now know how to speak to grown-ups, know how to speak to important people. They know how to speak to Africans, to Kenyans, to white people, to all manner of people. And for me, I find that, and that's why now you could say that homeschooled kids look more confident or tend to express themselves better.
I've hosted them and they're amazing.
Yeah,
I
because they have these opportunities. I've seen most of the homeschooled kids can hold a conversation with any age group.
Yeah.
And that forms part of our socialization.
Okay.
And so that's what we do. For me, if I'm going for a book launch, I take my kids with me, they interact with the people.
Yeah.
So for me, as a family, we don't have that as a challenge. And then also finding other platform, like each, I know they, coordinate this where different homeschools, like for example, maybe in this is Kileleshwa area or, Lavington area, or, they come together.
Okay.
So we are 10, 20 families, sometimes 30 families, and we come together and we can do, something together once every week or once every 2 weeks. So I think if I can, from my experience and even from all the parents I've seen around, I don't think this is a challenge for homeschooling.
Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Probably, Mary, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I can add to that.
Sure.
Okay, number one, homeschool children, it's socialized within their own family first.
Okay.
So their
Yes.
siblings, their parents, if there's a house manager, the gardener, they already have that socialization. So it's not like they are isolated, because people think that they're just at home, locked up with books. Actually, there's a lot of social life. Even before you go outside your house, already there's all those people you're socializing with. So you're able to know how to work with a young child, an older child, a teenager, a parent, a grandparent. Your grandparents visit you, and then so there's that, and then there's your church circle. In my experience of homeschooling, we had our family, then we had our church circle. So when they went to church, they had all their friends from church on Sundays, and then we lived in a place where a neighborhood where there were children within the compound. So after school, they went out to play with the neighbors. So there was always neighbors to play with after school.
Okay.
Then there was homeschool co-ops. We call them co-ops, where you go, you meet, now you do like sports or music or drama or whatever. So we also went like 2-3 times a week to different ones. And so there was always, so they had actually a very, very wide circle of socialization. So actually it's even more, I would say it's more than school going. Because school going, you're limited to your peers in your class.
And you have
Most
so
of the
much
time,
homework, you have no time to...
Yes. Most of the time you socialize with those in your class of your age. You had no time to socialize with the older ones and the younger ones. They're usually out there, you see them, but you don't. But when you're homeschooling, you literally interact with a baby and then an older child. So their socialization is actually more.
It's more.
Yes.
But I'm also seeing a lot of, I don't know, I could be wrong, I've not done that, interruptions. When you say, they're at home, maybe a guest is coming, this is happening, speak to the interruption. I'm sure someone somewhere is wondering.
I think there's someone who asked about how the day looks like.
Yes.
I think at the end of the day is to say homeschooling is not carefree learning. So we are structured. We have a timetable. Like even on our fringe, on different places, we have timetable. So my kids wake up, start school by 6. So 6 to 8, they have school. Then they have 1 hour break, which they call breakfast. 8 to 9. Then 9 to 11, they are in school. 11 to 11:30, they take another break. So it's just like a normal school. So what happens if, Sally, you come and visit me? You continue in school, and then I continue with what I need to be able to do. So it's not like we are, doing. Do you feel like doing school today? No, I don't feel like doing school. No, we don't do that. It's a natural school, and one of the greatest mistakes I've seen homeschooling parents do or homes do is to not have a timetable. We cannot do what we want anytime that we want. So you have to structure based on the age for your kids. When my kids started, when they were about 6, we'd start school at 9:30. So I will not pressure the younger ones, but as the kids grow, you must have a routine. And if we are going to break that routine, like we recently just came from a mission in Uganda, we were away for 3 weeks and then we needed to rest. So we lost a whole week and I go with my kids. So we have to find ways to be able to compensate that. And we plan that ahead of time. The same way, if my child was in school, I'll tell maybe the school, could my child get off on this day because maybe we have to travel or something, but then I still have to come back and compensate for the work that they lost. So we are not living carefree lives.
I think that's
it's
a lot
structured.
what most people think.
No.
And because of time, probably let me just delve again into our social. Someone is saying, good morning. Very informative conversation at Homeschooling. I would like to explore education for children admitted in hospital for long periods of time. How can I reach either or both of the consultants? David, that's his number. And thank you, blessings. David, indeed, we will share, you know, the contacts of the two. We'll share them with you after the show for sure. And then there's someone here saying or asking, hi, Sally and the guests. What an amazing conversation. Kindly ask what happens on the social side of the child. We responded to that. What kind of exams do they take? Do I need to employ different teachers to tackle different subjects? Mohammed Salah. That's a very important question. Like the third one. Different teachers, different. So first, what kind of exams do they undertake, Mary?
Okay. Depending on the curriculum you use, there are always exams for each curriculum.
Okay.
So for CBC, there are those continuous assessments, and there's the main exam of grade 3, grade 6. For the British curriculum, there are also their assessments, and then there's mini exams, American, and ACE also has what you call checkups and self-tests, and so each system has the way it tests.
Okay.
So the issue is now when you're finishing, how you have to decide based on where your child is going to university.
Yeah.
If it's an Arabic university, you're thinking about finishing with KCSE in the past, but now that's changing.
Yeah.
So with the British, you're thinking about finishing with the IGCSE. With the American, there's continuous assessment, there's a GED. There are many paths to the American one.
Okay.
So it's a question of you deciding which one, which university is your child going, and therefore which certificate will be accepted, therefore what will I finish with. So exams are accessible to homeschoolers, so we do the exams according to the need.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do they need different teachers for different subjects? Yes.
Usually homeschooling, let me say that homeschooling is usually a parent-led education system.
Yeah.
Like here, she's homeschooling her own children. That's a typical ideal model for homeschooling.
Okay.
But a lot of parents, especially the younger ones that I'm coming across nowadays, they're not doing it themselves. They're more or less getting a tutor to help.
Yeah.
So they're doing maybe partially, and then a tutor is doing the rest.
Okay.
So I do work with a lot of parents like that. And what we do is with primary level, usually you need one tutor because the basic subjects of a P1 teacher, the math, English, science, those are basics. Most teachers who have at least a P1 certificate can be able to teach those all the subjects in primary. When you get to high school is when you start specializing in the sciences, the humanities, and others like languages and home science, different things. So there is where we have like a science teacher tackling the sciences, a humanities teacher tackling the English, history, and all that, and language teacher, an IT teacher. That's when you start having a various teachers tackling the different things. But for the main core subjects, you have maybe two, sciences and the humanities. Then you have the specialization ones, like music and French.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wish, from what my director is telling me, I have like less than 5 minutes. Can you imagine? You can see the feedback is coming in fast, and so furious. So someone is saying, Fever Wamboya, very good morning. She's saying, hi, Sally. Wow, I've been wanting to hear more on this topic. Great information, because there's a lot of misinformation on homeschooling. Thank you, our guest. And she claps for you guys. What about parents who are working full-time? How can they do it? Are there centers you can take your kids like to do ACE, ama you're just limited to them doing it at home, Daktari?
I think, like we said, we have really developed, that space has really developed. Of course, I know so many centers where you can, so they say it's centers for homeschooling, but I think we need to call them something else.
Tutor centers.
Yeah, maybe tutor centers, but there are so many of them. And I think the advantage we have is like a consultant like Mary, where don't just start. You know, our time, 15 years ago, there was not this much resources. So just make sure you meet someone like Mary. consult, and even she's saying if you're working full-time, please
I send
consult.
teachers to your home.
She can send teachers to your
consult
home.
and see.
And I supervise those teachers and make sure they do what we've
so
agreed.
that you pick the right path for your children. Yeah.
Okay. And then you know, as we are wrapping this up, and probably, you know, this is a comment. Someone, hi Sally, I think it's important. I visit children's home more frequent, and one challenge they experience is raising school fees for kids. I've always thought of introducing homeschooling to help these kids get education, but I'm not sure about the cost and even how to go about it. So this is something probably
They can consult me.
as a consultant, then Mary can be able to do that. Good morning, Sally and the guests. I'm a tutor, have taught in Westlands for more than 5 years, majored in maths and sciences. Currently I don't have a client. I am an open opportunity. Amazing. I think now we'll get back to your parting shot, Mary. Briefly, what would be your parting shot this morning?
Okay, my parting shot would be, I'm looking forward. Okay, I have seen the changes in homeschooling from the beginning, like she said.
Yeah.
The way we homeschool, technology coming in. The next phase, because we have a lot of technology, we have a lot of parents interested, is we grow into a culture, the parents of the future grow into a culture of spending more time with their children, being involved in the education of their children, and trying to get more input and giving children more freedom in education, because it's there, resources are there, opportunities are there, technology is there, and then the government also coming in and supporting that, and legalizing, kind of creating more specific policies on homeschooling, because right now it's a bit vague. It's there, but it's vague. But making it more like a stamp. One of the options of education in Kenya is schooling, private schooling, public, and homeschooling. That's what I want to say.
That's an education specialist, and I know you can speak. 30 seconds, Daktari.
I think for me, at the end of the day, I come back to what has God spoken to you concerning your children. Please don't jump into anything, whether private, public, or homeschooling, just because everybody is doing it. At the end of the day, I encourage parents, please spend time in prayer and ask God, what is the right path for my child? And whatever he tells you, just do that. And wherever he sends you, he's going to make provision for it.
Lovely. Wherever he sends you, he's going to make provision for it. And that's where we come to the end of this amazing, robust conversation. I can still see feedback coming in. Unfortunately, because of time, we may not be able to, read all your feedback. But thank you so much for your time. I know we've all learned, and we've answered the question. We're begging the question today: is homeschooling gaining popularity? And indeed, it is gaining a lot of popularity. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you. And also for our partners, wherever you are, I want to say asante sana for just holding our hands every day for the last 25 years. Look at what that is doing. We are learning beautiful content like this. We are being homeschooled right here in studio. I want to say asante sana. And if you want to be part of this community that is changing lives, impacting lives out there, you can do that by writing the word partner and send it to 00316, which is our SMS line, or 0786 316 316, our WhatsApp line. Or also, if you want to support us in any way that the Lord may have touched, you can do that through paybill number 316 316, and the account name shall be your telephone number. God bless you and keep you. See you again tomorrow on Matters Finances. I'll be speaking to the topic asset finance. God bless you.